David is all coming today here for you. So he will tell us about Scopus, and we all have questions about it. And myself, I looked at it so many times, but I still have questions. So hopefully today Mr. Mansour will answer all our questions. So we'd really like to thank him because they initiated that and they took the time and effort to come and give us training. So we really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for your time. I know that I'm sure you have a very busy schedule, and we have this 1 hour today for the Scopus session. We will start with the PowerPoint presentation, if you don't mind, a few slides to give us an introduction about Scopus, and then we will go for the online session. And please feel free to ask me questions. If I can answer them, I'll answer. If not, then I'll write it down and come back to you. First of all, Scopus is actually just the first slide as an introduction about Scopus. Scopus is the largest abstracted and peer-reviewed database in the world, with around 59 million records, abstracted records. Scopus actually gives a comprehensive coverage for the literature worldwide, so it's not concentrated on a certain area of the world. It covers the whole world, and as well as around 40 languages, 40 local languages. So it's not only English language records. Scopus supports us in our different roles. So it supports the postdoctoral researchers, the senior researchers, librarians, dean of research. For the postdoctoral researcher, for example, how do I make sure that I don't miss any relevant information? How can I get a quick overview of any new subject area? How do I compare my team researchers and their H-index, for example? We'll talk about that. Librarians, to make sure that they're using the best resources and use Scopus to get the documents and the document delivery, or if you have a full text databases like Science Direct, for example. I know that you have Science Direct, so you have access to it. The Dean of Research, how can I optimize the deployment of institutional resources and funding? How I can increase my organization prestige ranking? All these things we can, Scopus can help us with. With Scopus also, it can support generally all the researchers in finding out what already exists in the world, in the global world of research output, to differentiate the research topics, decide what, where, and with whom to partner and collaborate with. I can see the different institutions, the different researchers in different subjects, and see if I can collaborate with and do a very useful collaboration relationship with them. Identify and analyze which journals to read or where to submit an article. We will see how can we analyze and compare between different journals using the different metrics in Scopus. So as I mentioned, Scopus has actually now, this number needs to be updated, is more than 59 million records from 22 plus serials titles or journal titles and 94,000 books. 21 million records before 1996 and 36 million records after 1995. The content is from 5,000 publishers. So it's not only Elsevier. We'll see this in the next slide. Before that, these are the different types of materials in Scopus. So Scopus, first of all, covers the physical sciences, health sciences, social sciences, and life sciences. And we have journals, conferences, and books. These are the different types of materials, different numbers of publications within Scopus. Yeah, that's what I was talking about, that the material is from 5,000 publishers, 10% only Elsevier, and then those are the big publishers, and then 60% from other publishers. So we are trying to cover the whole world. We're trying to cover the material from different publishers, but definitely there is a quality policy for Scopus. Before going to that, these are the different ranking organization which is using Scopus, like the Times Higher Education using Scopus, QS actually also using Scopus, US News for Arab Universities ranking using Scopus. This is a general slide about the different organizations worldwide using Scopus. Okay, we are doing a project right now to go back with the citations before 1996. Right now we have the information, it's since started, I mean, whatever, from 18, some articles from 18 something. But the citations are only up to 1996, and we are doing a project which will be completed by the first quarter of 2016. We will go back to 1970 into the citations. So we will have citations up to 1970. This definitely will make a difference for the senior authors, which their citations and H index will increase, definitely. Also, we are doing an expansion project for books. Right now, it is just below 100,000, and it will reach up above 120,000 books. Coming to the quality policy or the criteria to select the content within Scopus, there are general criteria, first of all, which has to be peer-reviewed English abstract. So for example, if we have an Arabic article or Russian article, whatever, we can have it in Scopus, but you need to have an English abstract and the references need to be Romanized. Okay. Otherwise, we accept, as I mentioned, up to 40 local languages. And then the eligibility of the titles, which reviewed by the Content and Selection Advisory Board. It's a totally independent committee which select the journals. So they have to review the journal policy, the quality of content, journal standing, how regular is the journal, and it should be available online as well. So this is the committee which I just mentioned about. They are totally independent from Elsevier, and they are deciding on the journals. Once you submit to them your journal title, then they decide on accepting it within Scopus, or maybe they request more information, or they reject.
How long the process takes?
I think it takes time. So it takes around 4 months or something like that, 4 to 6 months to accept the journal within Scopus.
And you have to have history. Like, can you start a journal and submit, or you have to have history of?
I think it at least has to be published, because one of the criteria is to be available online and so on. So even within maybe the second or third issue, it can be accepted within Scopus.
So the article does not come automatically into Scopus. You have to ask for that.
The journal.
There are two things. One, if the journal if it's already within Scopus, then automatically definitely will come into Scopus. But if the journal is not there, then it has to be accepted first. Or there is another way, which is I can see what are the journals available in my subject in Scopus already, and then start publishing with them. Then my article will automatically come into Scopus.
Is the Sabir looking into the question of Sabir being a for-profit organization versus the research being funded privately and independently, and typically not for-profit?
Yes, and it's one of the definitely subject which is discussed all over the world, and we have actually around maybe more than 2,000 titles which is openly accessed according to the different discussions and groups worldwide that they support the free access. So we have around more than 2,000 titles.
The Sabir sells all of these articles individually and by subscription. So they are selling it for profit versus the research published itself being supported by governments and organizations like NSF. So maybe this debate will widen in the near future, with people starting to say, what is your margin of profit, and should we submit there anything, given that it's paid by somebody else to be for free?
Yeah, that's definitely a topic which is discussed all over the world, but as I mentioned, we also support the open access initiatives in some of the titles, but also we are a company which we need to we need to make profit to pay salaries and so on, so that is also important. as well.
How much does it cost to get a journal indexed by Scopus? How much does it cost to get a journal indexed by Scopus?
It's free. It's free. Yeah. It's only need to be accepted by the company.
Are all SBR journals indexed by Scopus?
Are all what, sorry?
All the journals by SBR indexed by Scopus?
Elsevier.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So if it's published by SBR, it means automatically it is indexed by Scopus.
Yeah, if it has the same criteria accepted here. Yeah. Okay. Shall we? Any other questions? Okay. Then some of the metrics or the bibliometrics which is used within Scopus, which help us to evaluate. It could help us evaluate journals, articles, or even authors like the H-index. The IPP, the first one. Before going to that, actually, there's a very important thing that we should not depend on one metric to evaluate a journal. So we should use more than one metric to evaluate a journal. That's a very important thing. And the first one, which we need to talk about, IPP, the impact per publication, which actually measures the ratio of citations in a year to a scholarly output published in the previous 3 years. And we see that 3 years is the optimal time for article to get cited. It's not 2 years and not more than that. 3 years is the optimal time. So that is how IPP calculating. There's a complicated, definitely, formula in the background. I can send it to you if you're interested, but this is general information about IPP. IPP is not normalized for the subject, so it is just a number for any subject. If it is normalized, then it becomes SNP, the second metric. And SNP actually, it's exactly like IPP, but it is normalized. So this will help us to compare between different journals in different fields. And I'll give you an example. This is how is it different between IPP and SNP. For example, we have two journals here, and different subjects, different fields, and we know that the citation depends on the field. So into the social sciences, it's less citation than for the medical subjects, for example, and so on. So we can see here the IPP is 1.5. This is not normalized. This is actually actual citation, and in this journal, for this journal, it's 13. If we are using SNP, then we can see that it's very, very near to each other. This is 3.8, this is 4.0, and the reason behind that is that SNP is normalized. With SNP, you will be able to compare between the quality of two different journals from two different fields total.
And how do you calculate citation potential?
That is an average of citation into a field.
A field.
Yeah. We talk about, let's say, the medical field or so. There's it's an average about the citations.
And for that average, the journal has to be indexed by Scopus?
It has to, we are talking, all the citations are definitely the calculations here on Scopus on. Yes.
Excuse me, so does it mean that if there is a citation in a journal which is not Scopus index, we will not take it into consideration?
If it is cited outside, I mean the journal is the article which is cited, it's not in Scopus, it will definitely that will not be here.
Okay.
But here we are talking about 50 million records, so yeah. The third one is AGR, or Schmego Journal Rank, which is, we call it actually the prestige metric. It looks at the prestige of the journal or the importance of the journal, which is citing an article. So, for example, if we talk about journal like Nature, and journal like, if I have Wael Mansour journal, then if a citation goes from my journal to your article or a citation from Nature, then definitely the weight of the citation coming from Nature is much, much higher. This is the concept of SGR, and it is normalized as well.
Excuse me, can you explain the last point here, please? The last point.
The citation are weighted depending on the status of the source they come from. So the citation coming from a journal like Nature, it has a higher weight than a citation coming from a journal which is like Wael's Mansour journal, which is not known. doesn't have that weight. It's not like Nature or Cell or whatever.
How about the content? It doesn't matter where it came from, how about the content and the evaluation of the content? Does it make sense?
This is, yeah, it's very important, but it's different thing. We're talking about the citation. If we are calculating the number of citation, I have wrote an article and I've got 10 citations. And Dr. Ashraf has wrote an article and he got 8 citations, okay? But he got 8 citations from Nature and Cell, and I got 10 citations from a local magazine, okay? So those 8 citations, we are talking here about citations right now, is much more valuable than the 10 citations which I got. That is the concept of SGR, and as I mentioned, we should not use only one metric, we should use more than metric to evaluate the journal. Yes.
And how this weight is calculated?
Sorry, he was asking for this one.
Using the SGR, if the citation is coming from, for example, PhD thesis or dissertation, okay? Are they all equally the same weight, or is they also differ by the weight of the university where the thesis is coming from?
I don't know exactly how they weight the different, but this is the general concept. I can send you actually more details on the SGR. Yeah, that's right.
So do you mean that even if they are there are different journals,
Yeah.
Scopus index, they have different weights, right?
Yes, definitely.
So and this weight is decided how?
By the SGR.
Mm-hmm.
The SGR people, I mean, the metric of the SGR is deciding on the weight of the journal.
Okay.
And according to the prestige. The general concept is according to the prestige of the journal. But exactly how it is differentiated, I can send you more information. I can send it to Dr. Ashraf, and maybe he can disseminate this information to you.
SGR based on citations, right?
Yes.
So when we talk about citation, it doesn't base basically directly on the journal itself. Basically, it based on the subject matter in the journal. Let's say, like in Academy of Management journal, there are various subject matter in that particular journal. Let's say business, management, financial, ethics, leadership. So how big? As far as I'm concerned, when we talk about SGR, it's more towards the theme of the journal rather than the journal itself. Because the journal itself is basically based on SNP. So how will you differentiate those?
To my understanding, the SGR actually is talking about citation, which the citation goes to an article within a journal.
Yes.
So it's not about the subject of the journal. So for example, this issue of the journal has 10 articles. So we are dealing with individual articles and then definitely accumulate that according to the journal. Sorry, for the whole journal.
But in Simago, it been stipulated that, for example, business, they have in Q1 and management in Q2. So it would justify whether the journal is in.
What is Q1 and Q2?
Because in the Simago ranking.
Okay.
So that's why I'm a bit confused here. So how will you determine whether that particular journal is in Q1 or Q2, Q3 or Q4? Whether it based on the subject matter or it based on in the journal per se?
Quartiles,
Depends on-
they are the first, second and third quartile as such.
Okay. I see. It depends on the articles, which is I can send you more details. I don't know it actually into very deep level, but looks like you're aware of it. So let me send you more information about that. And then we can actually, if you have more questions, then we can discuss that offline.
Do you have ranking in Scopus indexed? Because when you look
For-
at the Scopus index, the journal quality.
Yes.
So based on journal quality, like for example, if I give the example of IJPPM, which is International Journal of Productivity and Performance Management, it's the B ranked with ABDC and it is Scopus indexed. Okay. And when you talk about IJESB, that is International Journal of Entrepreneurship and Small Business, this is also Scopus indexed and C ranked journal. Okay. Now in Scopus indexed, when you say that the list means there is plethora of journals listed in Scopus index, how you are going to make sure that this is the high quality Scopus index journal and this is the lower quality Scopus?
According to those metrics. So when you can compare between the different journals
Okay.
in Scopus, using those metrics. That's why we are giving an introduction about these metrics. You will find it in Scopus. So if you would
And
like,
the table, that the database, you can find all these metrics
Yes.
next
So-
to the name of the table.
Yes.
So you can decide based on the impact factor, and whatever index you would like to use, you can use. But all of these indexes are provided.
Yeah, I've seen that, but
Actually, the ABC ranking is based on the Australian.
yeah, I know that. Yes.
Here, it's a use impact factor.
Okay.
So, and also, in Australia, they put also like on that ABC. Notice the last 4 years, we just ranked the journal, the journal particular ABC.
Okay. Or we can just use the Samago ranking, because in the Samago ranking there have been indicated all the ranks for each journal, whether it's in Q1 or Q4. How would you suggest, or either we can just based on the list provided by Scopus, because the list provided by Scopus there are so many information in it, in which we need to compare one by one with the figures and everything. We can easily get confused.
But these are international indices, not Scopus indices. These are international. Everybody, it's not. They didn't decide on them.
yes, exactly. So all these metrics are not as Elsevier metrics. They are international metrics, and we are supporting it and using it with them because we can see it's very important, it's very valuable. Like the IPP, for example, it's calculating for 3 years of citation instead of the impact factor, which is calculating only for 2 years. So that's why we have it within Scopus. And we can compare between the journals in Scopus using these, but they are not Elsevier metrics.
Okay, in Samago general ranking, in the website, it will say that powered by Elsevier. What does it mean?
In which site, sorry?
Samago general ranking, because there is a website.
Right.
Samago general ranking.
Yes, exactly.
It seems that it's been created by Elsevier. So,
I can get you more information on this as well. Moving to maybe the H-index, which is maybe less complicated. The H-index is for the author. Maybe all of you are aware of it. It's to evaluate the author production and quality as well. And very simple, H-index, the number of the H-index means that, let's say if I have H-index 10, that means I have at least 10 articles which has 10 citations each. Simply. So 10 articles and each one of them has 10 citations. That's my H-index 10. So that's how H-index, and it definitely it's used to evaluate the researchers from the productivity point of view and quality as well. Okay, we're coming to a different point, which is
sorry for the interruption.
yes,
This means that the H-index is for researchers, not for the journal itself.
exactly. H-index is for authors or the researchers. Yes. Coming to a different point, which is why do we need a help also from regarding the authors' names to reach the 100% accuracy? There's an algorithm happening in the background when we do indexing for the articles, capturing the information of the author and so on, but definitely it's impossible to reach the 100% accuracy because you have different names, different shapes of the name. So sometimes when you publish an article, you put it as Dr. Smith or Dr. J. Smith or Dr. James Smith. So there are different forms of the name of the author, and this is making it difficult. So how do we overcome that? This needs to be done manually and needs feedback from you as authors and as researchers. And we do recommend to use ORCID. It's not an Elsevier initiative, but ORCID is international initiative, and it's used to give you a unique ID worldwide. So in this case, Dr. James Smith has this unique ID, and then when he writes any article for any journal or any database, he will have that unique article. So by this way, it's solving a lot of the problems of the authors.
And the website for the change is scopus.feedback. Or feedback to Scopus?
The feedback is if you have a feedback, Scopus feedback, maybe it's if you have a feedback on any of the articles or on the name, that's
Right,
one of
to
them.
change, yeah.
And the other thing is here, the ORCID is orchid.org. Or there is a wizard also from Scopus, which is Scopus 2 ORCID wizard, which you can use to. This is some websites which has information about Scopus. I think I've sent a soft copy, so maybe we can share this with you.
Sure.
Any questions before we go online to see?
Can you just give some information on Scopus indexed conferences?
Like the number of conferences or something like that?
Yeah,
Like that,
and
one of the
one
websites?
more thing is that because I'm from management field and Academy of Management, when you talk about it, is one of the places where people dream of going and presenting. But ironically and very surprising that this particular conference is not indexed in Scopus. So how we can overcome this? That means this is hindering us to go to Academy of Management and Academy of International Business. These are some of the very prestigious conferences in management.
Okay, okay. Again, we can discuss this offline after the session. We can have, when we discuss this after the session, we can search for it. But there is a criteria for that, and definitely we don't have all the conferences worldwide. But let's discuss that, and then maybe we can send it to Scopus as there's a form for that, and we can have it in Scopus.
But,
If it's not
but
there.
again, please, how long it takes if I want to get a conference, a well-known conference, indexed there by Scopus? How long it takes me?
A journal will take around 4 to 5 months.
Fine.
A conference, I need to check for you. I'm not sure. These are the numbers of conferences within Scopus. You have 85K events, 7 million records.
Yeah, but management, very poor quality conferences are Scopus indexed, and this we have to go because
Maybe it's, how about, you talk about conferences only, or you
Yeah,
talk about
only
everything? Okay,
conferences.
because maybe it's covered mainly more onto journals. Yes, sorry, it's, yes.
Let Dr. Hassan.
Two quick questions. Personally, I'm aware of, for example, speaking of conferences, like the proceedings of the Transportation Research Board, which is the biggest conference organized by the Transportation Research Board, which is at the biggest government entity in transportation research in the United States. I was surprised that it is not indexed by Scopus. I don't even know why. Okay, so I'm not sure if the Scopus has a criteria that apply to this particular conference. This is my first question.
Maybe for the first question, maybe I need to get you the policy. I'm not aware of the policy exactly for the conferences. Maybe it's focused on engineering and physical sciences and computer science especially. Maybe from the computer science, but I need to get you the policy for that. What's the
The second question regarding the publishers and the published papers, because I'm also aware of NRC, which is the National Research Council in Canada, which is again the government entity taking care of research in Canada, and they have several journals like Canadian Journal for Chemical Engineering, Canadian Journal for Civil Engineering, and I was also surprised that all these journals are not produced by Scopus, although they are highest journals in Canada.
Okay. I'm not sure. Maybe there are two things. One is the policy. Like for example, are they available? One of the important things of the policy is to be available online. For example, the availability of the journal online, or maybe it's their choice. They don't want to. They haven't contacted Scopus for that.
Yeah, okay.
So there are different reasons behind that. Maybe we can dig into it more in details after the session.
Can you explain to us the impact factor, please? Sometimes I look at journal and says impact factor of 0.75. It scares me to death. So what is impact factor? I don't know. The higher is better.
Okay.
But when you see 0.75 or 1.25, what do you expect from this?
First of all, we are not using impact factor in Scopus. because we can see the impact factor is using only 2 years of citations. We are using the IPP because we see it's more practical or more logical when you use 3 years of citations. About impact factor, I'm not sure if I have a slide about it. It's actually the number of citations in a given year on the number of divided by the number of source articles in the previous 2 years. That's how it is calculated. So that is the information I have. Actually, I'm sorry for the impact factor. There's some, as I mentioned, the main disadvantage is it is using only 2 years of citations in the impact factor. So that we are not using it in Scopus.
But the higher the better. In any index, the higher the better.
Shall we go online? Yeah. We have a limited time. I'd like to ask you a question first of all. Do all of you have access to Scopus now and using it, or?
We're using it daily.
Very good. This is very good. So it's within the IPA.
It is available on campus and available off campus as well through the library. So it's available.
So it's just www.scopus.com and you can use it. You need to register to have a username and password like I have here. So you will be able to save if you're doing some complicated research strategy, you can save that into your list. You can save list of records. You can do email stuff. So that's important when you have a username.
Is our university, Ashraf, is our university listed?
It is listed. Yeah.
Okay.
I tried to do the administrators, but not this.
In the past it wasn't, but named it now.
No, it's there, Abu Dhabi University.
Now it is. It's not the
Yeah.
beginning.
So this is the main. This is the main screen.
Increase the font. Can you increase the font? Control plus. More. Okay, thank you.
So this is the main screen of Scopus. You have the research tab, which you have different types of researches. I think you've already seen it. The document search, if you're looking for documents or you're searching for authors. Also, if you're searching for affiliation search, or if we are looking for Abu Dhabi University, for example. And we have the advanced search, which will allow you to do a Boolean searching or using the Boolean operators in a complicated scenario. Also, you have here My Scopus, which is you will have all the lists of saved searches, alerts, saved lists, and so on.
You must almost click no thank you.
Yeah, within the training. After the training, you can use it. And then here we can browse also the sources of information within Scopus, the list of journals. So these are the list of journals within Scopus. Yeah, you can actually select subject area, or you can start with that alphabetically from here, or you can search within a title. You can also compare journals. So you can select any journal. Let's try Cell, for example, here. And when we type Cell, it will get Cell in anywhere into the title. So unless I'm using the quotes, then it's. So for example, you can select a couple of journals here, as we were discussing within while we were doing the PowerPoint. You can compare between the different journals using SGR or IPP, SNP. You can see the citation, documents, and so on. Back to the search. So into the document search, you have different fields to search in. You can search in all fields or article authors, or you can search into the affiliation name or city or country. So let's go to affiliation name. I'm going to search for Abu Dhabi University. So without using the quotation, Abu Dhabi could come from any part of the name. So while using the quotes, we can see the different number of results here. This is the real number. This is the real number of results you have in Scopus, 365 documents. Then you get the list of results in the screen according to your setup. Here it's set up to 20 articles.
Excuse me,
Sure.
can you show us how to look for conferences listed in Scopus?
Sure, but let's go step by
One
step. So this is one of the articles.
What is Abu Dhabi University?
This is Abu Dhabi University.
All of them are Abu Dhabi.
Is it there?
So
I didn't see it, I'm sorry. I'm home fan.
so this is one of the conferences actually, and here we have the title, the information about. Here is the author. Some of the authors you will find their email, so you can email them directly from here. Abstract, as we mentioned before, you need to have an abstract in English, even if the article or the conference in different language. You have the author keywords and you have the Scopus keywords. We are using subject headings within Scopus, consist of 27 main subjects, and those 27 subjects consist of 334 subtopics. If you do have a full access, if you have a full text database, then you can click on full text and have access. I know that you have Science Direct, so you can have the full text of most, not everything, but most of the articles.
Is Science Direct part of Entrepreneur as well?
Yes, it's a full text database. So this is the main results list we've got, but we can limit our search. We can limit by the year, we can limit by author name, by subject area, by document type. So for example, we had a question about how do we limit that by conference papers, for example. I've selected here the conference paper. And by the way, there are more types. You can, everywhere you have view more to see more subjects. And then you have the source title, which is the journals or the conferences, affiliations, and country. And then we can limit to, we have select conferences, so we are limiting our document search to conferences, so we have 115 documents, 115 papers within conferences, published by authors in Abu Dhabi University. Okay?
So Eli, you published 115 Scopus index conferences in your researches.
Exactly. So also we can select, once we select this page, for example, we should be able to export this information. We can export it into different types. We can export it into like an Excel file or RS format or BibText, and you can select also the fields. Or you can save it to Mendeley. Mendeley is one of the Elsevier products, which is actually free. You can use as a reference manager. And you can export this data. So for example, if I would like to export all available information into a CSV file and export.
I have a question. When you talk about conferences, are you telling us about the conference proceeding, let's say the written form, or about the conference as a venue? Which is the
No, the proceedings as well. The
proceeding and the conference itself without the proceedings. So it's a way of classifying the good conference or the bad conference, something like that.
Yeah, there's a way to do that when you search by subject, or you search by subject and limit to that to the conferences, and then use the different metrics to evaluate the conference.
The conference itself, not the proceeding.
No, the proceeding, definitely the conference, it's according to the written papers. I mean, we are evaluating the content.
Yeah, but what
Because-
happened, for example, I want to go to a conference and I need to know if the conference is a Scopus. So how do I
We can
search for
search,
that?
we can search,
Show us how to
Can
do that.
just show
Show us how to do that.
we can search for the conference
Can
directly.
you show us, because this is I think all of us, we want to
Yes.
know how to do that, because we need to go to Scopus conferences. So we want to know how we can do that.
Sure. Maybe one step before that.
Can I just clarify one point here?
Sure.
For this, you will not get it actually. You will be able to know from the conference website. If the conference shows that there's a volume and it's index conference, then there will be equilibrium scores. If it's not index, it will not be.
But some of them lie.
But from the conference of data, it should say Scopus. Scopus
Yes,
is.
they will say, the index, they will say that there's a volume and it's index, then it will appear in the scores. Otherwise, no.
There are two criteria for indexing the conference proceeding. Some of the conference organizers, they manage to contact Scopus and they get the letter before the conference that this particular conference is Scopus indexed. That is the guarantee. The second problem which we are facing is that most of the conference organizers, they display this, that yes, this conference, the conference proceedings for this conference will be indexed in Scopus, which does not have any
Exactly.
authentication.
And this is, if I allow me,
This is the
this is basically usually fishy strategy.
Yes.
People, they don't, you just want to say, we're going to publish it in Scopus, but usually very often it's not going to happen. So try to avoid these people who say, we will.
As long as the volume is not published, how is it going to appear in scores? It will not appear.
But if it is previous one,
It has to be published.
but if the previous one for
Yes,
the
but
laptop,
if I want to go to a conference,
let's try-
I need
let's
to
try that.
know before going to the
Only from
conference.
the conference organizer. No.
but if the conference was already Scopus for the last previous years,
Yeah.
then it will.
Yes.
Will.
I think yes.
Yeah.
The use of conference.
Yeah, let's try.
If it is the first year, it's not, you're not.
How fast time we know?
Sure. We have a question here.
I know a conference that publishes for the last 20 years a special issue in a high impact Elsevier journal, but the conference is not listed in Scopus. What could be the reason?
Yeah, we had the similar question, and I need to go back to the policy of the conferences. Why would be the reason? We need to check that.
The journal is
So before we miss the point we were talking about, because we have a very limited time and people started to leave.
Yeah, please.
So we have just exported the data, and this is the information. You can use this somewhere else. You can import it if you have Cyber, for example, or any other database or any other tool. You can import this information, full information, into the other systems. So this is how we can export the data. We can save the list of titles, and we can save the search as well. Let's go back to the search. And
Just this show us a conference, if somebody would like to know a conference is there or not, what we do.
what do you have any conference which you would like to?
Like,
Try architecture.
AUG.
or
Architecture.
maybe sorry.
Architecture.
Just that because this is a borderline discipline.
Architecture, TBC.
لا لا
TEC,
TEC.
EUI.
So we bring software.
but these are documents.
Conference query.
There are conference papers and conference
So it's not
reviews.
architecture, it's
selected
not architecture, it's computer. Yes, it's computer, this is not architecture.
Yeah, because it's general architecture.
So why don't you search right
it's
now?
not
So we can
architecture.
go to subject area.
Design.
It's like astronomy and astrology.
It's design, could you search by design, please?
Design could be also, it's a very broad term. It could be for
So that's
designing.
Yeah, but these are our disciplines, how
So
can
it's
we
better-
find a Scopus conference
The
then?
best way if, are you looking for a subject or you're looking for a specific title for the conference?
No, a subject.
Yeah, but our subject is architecture.
So how about urban? Urban
We
studies.
cannot change, you know, we are architects.
Yeah, I know that very well. So the best way is to
Go to the find subject.
subject area.
No, not here. Like go back to the search.
Actually, the confusion with
What about over there? Browse sources.
There.
Oh, what about that?
Browse all the journals.
Okay, that's where you search for architectural journals or conferences.
It takes time, I think. Let's do the search.
Oh, their research, don't you? Their research. All subject, like subject, you choose a subject. لا هناك على اليمين على في subject or subject area اختار subject بدي
Well, this is the 27 general subjects, so
journal or conference everything.
so would it be under engineering?
Engineering is easy. Is it under engineering? Architecture or
No, it's not.
not necessary. So what topic will
Could you try urban design, like Dr. Rim was asking?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Urban design.
Urban studies, urban design.
Design.
With quotation.
No, without E. Without E.
E between the
Yeah.
quotations.
Is there a manual or something like this?
Yes, we have journals.
And there is a conference also.
So now excuses.
Now I have to publish there.
Yes. No excuses.
Let's go back to the main search. We can put it here and then go to conference.
Application there. That's cool.
But it's not related. No, it's related. Occupant. This is the conference.
This conference.
Sorry, is there any manual or something like this? For example, how to find papers or journals?
Yeah, in the help.
Like 2014 list, 2015 list, and likewise something which can be very much
Just a
comprehensive.
second. Let me answer this question and then.
Yeah, sorry.
So in the help here, you have the help and contact, tutorials, and live chat. That's
Okay, and I have an idea. I think it would be very beneficial for all of us to arrange a new session, different session for different disciplines, college of business or architecture, okay, because actually I have no idea how to use it. It's very important, this tool, but I have no idea. I don't know how to find papers at conferences or all of this. Important things for us. So I think my idea is to organize a new session, okay, for each one college. I think it will be more important.
First of all, here in this session, we are just having an introduction how to use the search generally, but definitely it needs from you, all of you, to go and dig more and use it more. Regarding more sessions, I can discuss with Dr. Ashraf.
Because, for example, I have found some papers, I cannot download this paper. And we have the same problem.
There are two things. Number one, if the paper is there in Scopus or not.
How do I know that?
We search for the paper title.
How do I know that?
Do you know that paper or you don't know that paper?
I know, for example, sometimes I know the title of a paper, and some other times I know only the journals. For example, I want to download all the papers the last 3 years only, Journal of Statistics Management, for example. How can I do that? But I think it's not so important because
Okay, خلاص, let me answer this question, just a second. For the conferences, hello? Is it clear for the conferences now, how can we search for conference? We went to the search, and we have used this term, and into the field we have select conference name. G15. Was that okay with you?
Which is that?
For the conferences?
There's an manual.
It's here, it's in the help. So we can,
there is manual that will be the best. Everybody can refer to the manual.
and then your question regarding the article and how can we search for the article? About how can we search for the article?
For an article or for a journal. For example, how can I download some papers from the Journal of Strategic Management?
Okay, there are three things for this question. Number one is to search for a paper. It's from the main search interface here, and we select, if we know the title, then we select article title. This is how we search for it. If we don't know the title, there are two things. One is there is also a source title here we can search. So the source title means the journal or conference, whatever.
For example, Journal of Marketing or of Management.
Exactly. Then we can do this. The other way we can browse sources, and we have the alphabetical list, and we can start with Journal of Marketing. Then when on J, we can go for Journal of Marketing or search for it. But the most important thing we have to remember that we have the abstracts only here, not the full text. The full text, you need an additional database to be able to access it, or you need to contact the library, because if you have Science Direct, but maybe it doesn't have everything definitely in Scopus, because Scopus, as we mentioned, around 60 million records.
Okay.
So the library will have a different way to deliver the article to you. There is a document delivery, and they have their own methods to bring you the full text of the book.
Thank you very
You're
much.
most welcome. Yes.
I think in the front page of the website, the Scopus website, there is a list of journals and conferences as of June 2015.
Yes.
So maybe we can just check manually
Yes.
if we are interested to go to those conferences.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Where these conferences?
In Scopus.com, the front page, there is on the
Content.
bottom,
They
there
have the
is list
content.
of journals,
Uh-huh.
which included the journal lists and the conferences.
But these are in the past. This is in the past.
As of June 2015.
Right, in the past.
But we can check because normally because once in that, normally it will
I think it's the same here. If we select conference proceedings into browse, so it's available here, and it's available on the Scopus webpage as well under content.
Yes.
Yes.
That is the manual approach of it.
Is it possible to have a list of Scopus conferences like this website or anything else?
List of conferences in architecture. I don't think it's available already, but we can search for it. So.
Yeah, because when we tried it, it doesn't work.
It did work.
No, we didn't see any conference in architecture.
The problem is architecture is a bit, so it can be
Maybe building.
computer science architecture as well.
And in the environment, I think the environment is good, is a good search word.
No, but they are searching for architecture, so maybe
Architecture
let's
is
try.
part of the environment. Because most of the conferences are multidisciplinary, that's why.
It could be, it's under engineering, or it could
Yes,
be.
architecture.
It can be part of engineering and part of the environment as well. Because to my knowledge, sometimes we need to go into the conference themes rather than the conference title. Because because the conference theme will show whether our theme will be included in the conference, not the title.
Uh-huh. Then I think it will be here. You look and under this domain subject area.
Yeah, and one more thing, actually, we need to remember that the Scopus is focusing more, if we talk about conferences, so I think it's covering more into computer science and physical sciences, more than architecture.
A lot of architectural conferences in the Scopus as well.
Yeah.
Or maybe under the
It's
art,
a lot, but not all are included, and this is the major problem. Because if you're looking at the Emerald publications, as only 1% of Emerald publication is Scopus indexed, That is one of the problems.
No. It's not 1% of Emerald. It's 1% of the content of Scopus.
Okay.
It's the other way around. So, for example, Elsevier content is consisting 10% of Scopus. Emerald is 1%. So, and these are the big publishers. 60% is from different publishers. So it's not 1% only.
You know, our major concern is only the conference right now, because looking at the publication, we are prepared that okay, we focus on a particular journal which is Scopus Index, and we keep on submitting our paper in that. Now, in case of conferences, I will tell you frankly, in management field, if you will explore, when you go for top 10 conferences in management, none of the conferences are indexed in Scopus.
Allow me to answer that.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Most business conferences are, I took a sample of 200 Scopus lists, and hardly we found business. So I agree with you, and for that, when at business conferences, there is other ways we can support conferences.
Can it be?
Yes.
Because there's a deadline for Academy of Management, and I'm not.
We will not stand in your way against going to political conferences.
Okay.
But and we know that most businesses go for journals.
Yes.
So if you have a good record of journal, we're not going to. But if you are the only one publishing in conferences, and these conferences are not Scopus, then there is a problem. But if you're publishing in journal that are Scopus and they would like to attend conferences.
I myself is not very much happy in attending the conferences which are Scopus Index, because I have not found that quality which I am talking about, Academy of Management or Academy of International. These are top conferences.
Correct.
Presenting the paper there itself is a big achievement. So
So this will not be an issue. But this is nothing to do with the. With them.
now I'm.
Yeah, maybe the conference is actually concentrating on the computer science
The
more
conference
than.
is not in that.
But I'll get you more detail.
The paper, because some of the conference, they will publish the paper into the journal with
Then it is
special
okay.
issue. So the paper will be in that, in this office.
Yes,
The
that's
copy-
fine.
okay.
That's fine. But this is nothing to do with me. This is our own policy. So let's say that. I mean, if you have a question for me.
Excuse me, sir. Can you just go to the Simago website, please?
Sure, I'm just searching for one conference here.
Do you mind if you'd like to have some snacks and then have a personal discussion with him? And this is fine. It's perfectly fine. Just don't want you to miss.
The food.
To miss the food. So feel free, please, to have some snacks and continue your discussion. I will have snacks too.
After the exams, for 1 week, I will stay here. Come down to school. I will stay here and come. After work, we have some other trainings, some training. So 1 week is over. I will send me an email or
My teacher. لا أنا شفت اسمه مؤخرا يعني.
After finishing the species data set, we send it to that for the graduation.
General of Asian architecture building, civil engineering, and engineers part of architecture.
This one?
Oh yeah, just wondering.
If we use this index, can we download all articles in this journal, Scopus journal?
All the articles?
Yeah, or it depends on the university subscription.
No, I didn't get the question, sorry.
All academic journal trying to index in Scopus. Okay. The question is, can I always be able to download the full paper to this Scopus link, or is it on the university subscription?
Scopus will not have the full text.
Oh, yeah. So it's in that case, yeah.
You will have a subscription to
So in case, for example, this journal is Scopus, but the university does not have subscription to the research, so we cannot download the full paper.
Yes, exactly. You need to have a subscription to a full text, or you need to go to the library, which they have the document and everything in it.
Okay, the able of download is between university or library to the publisher.
Yes, exactly. And or there are definitely around, as I mentioned, more than 2,000 journals in Scopus, which is open access.
Yeah, open access. But if they are closed, again, it's investment university subscription.
Give me a call because I do not have my mobile with me. Thank you very much, doctor. See you. If you need anything, let me know. Thank you, sir.
You're most
Have a
welcome.
nice day.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Bye bye. I got some things. I'm okay. No more problem. That's what come back.